Welcome to the Arclight Battery, your power source for all things Warcraft Rumble related. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you a almost talentless dungeon run for Baron Rivendare, though you should be able to use this for any of your undead leaders this week to get them to full gold. So, the reason it's almost talentless is because I just recorded the video and I thought I had no talents on, and then I realized at the very end that I actually had Baron's Chill of the Grave talent on. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. We're just going to go ahead and keep going. I mean, it's the talent everybody should have anyway, so I think it'll be okay. So, what are we running? We are running Baron Rivendare because he's one of the undead leaders this week. We're going to pretend like we didn't have a talent, even though we did. Please use this if you have it. He is super solid, but he is just the leader that we are playing this week, so we're going to skip over him and go over what these guys actually do in the dungeon. So, first we have Necromancer. He's just a single target damage dealer at range, but he summons 2 melee skeletons to help tank. He is great support for everything on the map. He is awesome. He does a ton of damage. He's going to help out quite a bit here. His skeletons will help him claim the amp switches on the last boss. He provides great DPS to the rocket towers once you distract them with a Quillbore on the second boss. He will distract or be able to deal damage to the first boss while it's spinning on top of the skeletons he spawns. So there's a lot of stuff he can do in this map. Meatwagon here is just all around great. He does a lot of damage at range, which is perfect for the first boss. It's really good for the second boss. And it helps him claim amp switches that are out of range on the third boss. So, very, very good unit. I would use him in all of my dungeon runs this week. Quillbore here is what we use every single time to distract bosses and things of that nature. This guy is awesome for rocket towers. He's awesome for the second boss. He's awesome for the first boss to claim the Meaning Stone and treasure chests, and to kind of pull him away from your damage dealers and have him get AoE spun off the map from the first boss. He's great on the third boss to distract things that are coming to take your amp switches. He's just all around fantastic for this. We have Murlocs, which is just a range support. We need a little more range support. They're also fast, so they can get to the amp switches quicker if you need to, and they are a cheap cycle unit, so we can cycle back around to what we're actually looking to play in this deck with our Safe Pilots and our Necromancers. We're going to skip over Execute for just a second. Safe Pilot is great in this dungeon as well, but she's great everywhere, so just expect to play her a lot. She is fantastic. She's on-demand support. She claims treasure chests. She captures Meaning Stones. She does AoE damage. She is awesome to DPS a boss once you've distracted it with the Quillbore, especially the second one. Her AoE is big enough to claim 2 amp switches at the same time on the last boss. She is all-around fantastic. Now, why are we running Execute? Well, Execute helps us kill things quickly. Since we're not running talents, it helps us take a large chunk out of enemies, and then our unit should be able to finish it off from there. However, there's a very specific reason other than that we are running this. This actually can deal damage to the last boss through his shield. So, for those of you that don't know, the last boss summons volt switches that once you kill them, summon a bomb, and that's the only way to deal damage to the boss. However, the boss can kill them too and deal damage to you, so you really have to be on top of your game to claim all of them and make sure your base doesn't die to the bombs before the boss does. For whatever reason, this goes through the shield and deals damage to the last boss. So, whenever you have extra gold, you can take an Execute, put it right on top of the boss, and deal another chunk of his health and damage. It's super solid. You should be running it if you're not in this dungeon. Try and fit it in where you can. The last boss isn't particularly hard, but sometimes it can be overwhelming to deal with the units and trying to control the amp switches. So, if you have the room for this, play it. It's very good. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the dungeon. Okay, let's look at our 3 choices for this first level of our dungeon. We have Unstable Concoction. On death, your minis explode, damaging nearby enemies and poisoning them. We have Gauntlets of Determination. Your leader gains 1 level for each time they are deployed. And Aegis of Bone. Undead minis near your leader gain armor. I don't necessarily like this one. We're not running a ton of undead minis, we've got Necromancer and Meat Wagon, but that's about it. This one's not terrible. An extra level each time you deploy your leader is actually pretty solid. And Unstable Concoction is not bad either. However, we have a lot of ranged minis here. So let's go with the Gauntlets of Determination for this one. Alright, Crab Pummeler first. Alright, so before we get started actually playing the map, let's talk about it a little bit. There is a gear here on the map, as well as one here. You can actually see that this one has its item spawned. We're just going to call it a power belt. I don't actually know what it's called. However, when you pick this up, it makes your unit that picked it up immune to being knocked off of the map by Crab Pummeler. So, Crab Pummeler will send this targeting reticle that's under him around the map. It goes to the left, down to this little sprocket or gear, and then over across this meeting stone, back across this sprocket or gear, and then back up. Every time it targets something, he's going to stop what he's doing, throw one of his fists out, and knock whatever's in it away from the impact zone, and generally it knocks them off the map. It knocks them pretty far. Anytime they go over the edge or into this middle area right here, they're just going to instantly die. The Crab Pummeler has another mechanic where when a melee unit gets in range, he will spin and also knock them off the platform. However, the catch is, if they have one of these sprockets, then they can't be knocked away. As well, if the targeting reticle ever goes over one of your units somewhere else on the map, he will stop what he's doing, so he won't spin, and he'll throw a fist at it and try and knock it off. So the goal is to have melee units pick up the sprocket, tank him while he's spinning, have ranged units behind your melee unit that's tanking, or if your melee units don't have a sprocket, you can drop an unbound unit inside the targeting reticle before they get there, so that he does not spin on top of them and knock them off the map. We're going to try and control these two chests here, as well as the two sprockets. If we lose a couple sprockets, it's no big deal, but that's the game plan. Let's give it a shot. Alright, go ahead and send Baron up here. Wood War here to grab this. And we're going to stay pilot here. And Baron's zooming. Oh, I didn't realize he would see that. That's okay. Let's send some Murlocs over here. Nice. He should probably get knocked off. Yeah, see that? And he hits the gear and now he's dead. Okay. So, let's get a Meat Wagon going. Yeah, I kind of thought that would happen. That's okay, though. We don't need to do anything super crazy yet. Alright. Looks like Necro got the bubble. It's unfortunate we lose our Murlocs to that, but that's okay. Execute there. We're gonna have Quillmore get inside the targeting reticle, and so he should stop, so he doesn't knock Baron off. A little sloppy, because of Harvest Golem, but that's okay. Let's go recapture this Meeting Stone. Got a Skeletal Mage picking up the gear. Send Murlocs up to pick up the gear. We'll wait for this to recapture, and then we can send our Baron here in just a moment. We'll wait for the sprocket to pop up too that's over here, so that we get maximum value out of our Baron. But until then, we can place a Meat Wagon. I hope that spawns. A little unfortunate. I thought it might spawn in front of the Kobold, which I didn't want him to grab. That's okay. We're almost done with the map anyway. We can probably just execute. Yeah. Okay. So, it's a little sloppy, but you kind of get the idea. We played Baron way too soon at the very end there, because we didn't want the Kobold to actually pick up the gear if it spawned, but it didn't actually end up spawning. Alright, so let's go on to the second level. The second level is probably the hardest, but we'll talk about it once we get there. Our three choices we have are Spirit Feather. When a squad mini dies, it's siblings gain +1 level. We don't really have squads. We have Murlocs, but we don't want to give one of them an extra level. Not great. Code Spearhead, your ranged minis gain poison. Now that's pretty solid. We've got a lot of ranged minis in the deck. And then Windrunner Shroud, your fast minis gain stealth. We're going to go with the Code Spearhead here. It's just more DPS, which is super fantastic against the second boss or the towers here. So let's go ahead and give it a go. So once again, before we get started, let's look at the map. We've got rocket towers on either lane here, and then there's a grate here that will poison anything that comes into contact with it and put a dot on them. This is pretty rough, especially when you're trying to take the tower with melee units or groups, because they have good AoE around the tower, good AoE from the tower. It's very difficult to take sometimes. This middle lane has a treasure chest on it. However, both of these towers see that treasure chest point, and so generally it's very hard to control that middle tower, or middle chest, unless you have the two towers. The boss here does long-range blasts and short-range electrical cone attacks. She's elemental, so we generally want to use Quillbore to tank her, and then just get a big push going after we've claimed both of the towers. Once you claim both of the towers, it's hard for the boss to push anything down the middle, and they also do a very good job just defending their own lane. So let's look at these guys real quick. They are a melee unit that does periodic AoE damage, so you don't really want to put squishy units against them, but they are also kind of squishy themselves, so they're not too big of a deal. Okay, let's get started. Okay, we're going to put Meat Wagon here. It should outrange this, I believe. It doesn't. Okay, so it doesn't outrange them without the talent, which is unfortunate. That's okay. Let's go ahead and put a Necromancer here, and we'll crash the safe pilot and execute at the same time to kill the bear. Just gotta deal with the first little push, and then we'll start taking towers. Okay. I want to wait for these guys to walk up just a little bit, and then I'll drop some support for them. I don't really want the tower to start helping until we kill them. It would be a good idea here to distract with Quillbore, but I was a little slow on that. It can be kind of difficult to get started on this map, but you just gotta make sure you prevent the first initial push, and then you can get started a little better. Don't want them to have all the gold. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and put Quillbore here and drop Baron. Okay, we should be able to take this tower because of that. Okay, yep, we should have this. Okay, awesome. We're gonna lose that treasure chest again, but we should be able to get the next one after we claim this tower. And we're just gonna let these guys die. The boss has a ton of damage. Ooh, we do need to protect this though, because we want that tower to actually spawn. Have him tank that. Let's get a Necromancer here. And we'll drop Baron, start tanking the tower. And we can execute it. Yes, execute's so powerful. Okay, let's get this here, and then we will work on starting to get the boss push going. So we'll drop a Meat Wagon here, a Necromancer here, and the Baron here, and then we will distract with the Quillbore. Okay, and then let's execute here. We can drop a safe pilot in just a moment to kind of help support. Okay, one more push should do it. Let's get a little bit of gold here. We'll help our tower real quick. And then get ready to drop a Quill Bore. Oh, Bore's gonna melt because of the troll, actually. That's fine, though. Okay. Drop a safe pilot. Baron's so high level because of the perk we chose. We'll execute, and then the mage should kill it. Oh, not quite. That's okay. We'll find a safe pilot here in just a second. Or a Quill Bore. Quill Bore will work. Alright, so it's hard to get the push going and claim the towers, but after you do, the map is a lot easier. Alright. Now we have armored units apply frost to melee attackers when hit. Your minis gain 50% movement speed until damaged, and your barracks and towers apply frost on hit. I don't like any of these for this last map. This one is pretty rough because we're generally not having things get to our base. If we do, then we're probably already losing the map. This one, having 50% movement speed, it is also not great. I want my units to be slow so they can claim the bomb spawners for the boss, and then we don't really want them to run past them. And then armored units apply frost to melee attackers when hit. This is kind of just We're gonna pick it because we don't like the other two, but it's not great. So let's go ahead and get into the fight. All right. So once again, we'll talk about the fight a little bit before we actually do it. We've got gold mines on either side here. They are a fantastic source of income, especially if you can keep cycling back to your cobalt miner, because generally by the time you take this one and then this one is full again, and you should be able to keep a constant flow of gold going. You can't see them. Oh, there they are. I wonder why they're not on the map yet. They're called amp switches. When you kill it, it summons a bomb that deals damage to the boss. That's the only way to damage him. Units don't damage him, except execute does. Like we talked about earlier in the video, execute can damage the boss through his shield. I don't know if it's a bug, but it is a very nice tip for this last boss. He's not particularly difficult, but it does help him a little bit along the way. So the main goal is to control the amp switches when they spawn, execute the boss when we have a little extra gold, and make sure we don't get overrun by his units so that we control the amp switches. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we're going to drop this here. Every time we kill an amp switch, a bomb will spawn in the middle that will deal damage to the boss. Go ahead and get that going. We're going to tank a couple of these, get a gold miner going, and then have our murlocs work. Okay. Go ahead and get a meat wagon here. See, we got a bomb over here because of the cleave. We don't want to spin that yet. Let's wait for these guys to get a little closer. We'll drop a safe pilot. We're gonna lose another switch. Unfortunate. That's okay though. Get Quill Bore going here. Oh no, it's so bad. Oh man. Yeah. We're not doing too hot here. You gotta be able to control your base and make sure that you're getting the switches properly. That's okay though. It's easy to make mistakes, but once you get in the flow of the map, it's pretty easy to claim all the amp switches as well. There is a point where you just understand what the map's doing, and you generally don't have more things spawn on top of you, like more bombs. You generally get most of them. Go ahead and execute the boss. Go ahead and have him claim this so we can place another one of these. We're going to lose that amp switch, but we should get this one. Oh, I think they last hit it. Unfortunate. That's okay, though. We're still ahead by a ways. Okay. Just about done with the map. Just like that. So, we got a little behind there. It's a little difficult, but it's not too bad. Alright, and that's the dungeon. We'll go ahead and claim our Arclight energy in gold. Takes us above 50k again. And there you have it. There is Gnomeregan with no talents. So, I just appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for watching. Any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, put them in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, share it, leave a comment. It means absolutely the world to me, and I super appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much again, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.